Hi. I was just reading a teaching from Jesus, which is talking about speaking out, expressing your Christhood, and he just said, just start by talking about what you think, what you feel, and just keep it really simple, without any expectations of, you know, how people may or may not respond, and um, and I thought, well, why don't I just do that then? Because I've been listening to Kim's teaching talks on YouTube, and I have so much admiration for Kim and how fluent and articulate he is, and how spontaneously he flows, with the spoken word, and I have this incredible admiration. But there's also like this aspect, that a self in me, where I just feel like, I'm not that. I know I have wise thoughts, and I can process things, and I have good insights and so on. But this this total lack of confidence with the fluency of speech and articulating. So as I've been doing the interviews, I've been challenging that by just learning to sort of, push through and try to sort of bring my thoughts and questions to some sort of a close. But also I've had to accept that sometimes, it's a bit weird. I just sort of tend to end a question with a bit of a, I don't know, I don't, but I know, I just know I'm a work in progress. So the only way to push through speaking out is to start speaking out. And so I was talking with a friend yesterday, and he was talking about the projections that of the collective consciousness in his country, and how it really has a strong impact on how he could actually manifest in his life, how he could move forward. There was just a certain restriction in the collective energy, and it just made me think, something that I've been working on and considering for quite a while, about being a woman. And there is no doubt in my mind that women, we it's not as natural on this planet for women to speak out fluently. And I can honestly say, from all of my experience with women and men, and particularly doing these interviews, men are way more comfortable with going, yeah, yeah, I'll do an interview, and yeah, yeah, I don't, I'll just, I'm quite happy to flow off the cuff. Whereas women are much more likely to be like, say something like, oh no, I don't want to do an interview. I'd rather express myself through words. Can you wait? There's a lot more restrictions and fear of expressing the self for women, like, hands down. That's not like a theory. It's just a clear observation. And so, why is this? And I'm I've been looking into this for quite a while, and I've been reading a book about, it's about the war. It's called The War on Women, and it's talking about the horrendous things that are done to women all across the world. Like female genital mutilation, trafficking. Literally just picking women, young women off, and children off from their homes in one country, taking them to another country, taking away their passport, and forcing them to be prostitutes, and they have no choice. They have absolutely, no way of getting out of the situation they're in. And, it just goes on and on. And a lot of it comes down to religion, the lies that have come through religion, which, and also it does come through in, through state as well, that women are secondary. There is, even in Western countries where we have way more freedom to be what we want to be, there's just something in women where we hold we've got a we're dealing with a different collective set of projections. So it's coming through our physical bodies, it's coming through our genetic lines, and it's coming through our cultures. It's coming from projections from the very moment your gender is understood, there is a projection going in on what that means about, whether it's a boy or a girl, straight up. And it keeps going on from there. These constant projections of what is a girl, what is a boy. And I know, from my own experience growing up, my perception was that women were considered intellectually secondary, and my brothers, most of my brothers have certainly transcended that and everything, but it was something I grew up with. I could see, the difference between my mother and my father, and my mother sort of played the role of being like, oh, I don't know as much. But the moment she was free of him, like once he died and she had her freedom, like, she wanted to exercise her mind and start learning things, and developing her intellectual self. So, it was sort of like this classic, men sitting around the dinner table, having these wise discussions and everything. But really what was happening was it was whoever was the strongest and had the loudest voice, they were the ones who'd win. Like, it really didn't come down to a nice to and fro with discussion. And I read something about, Jennifer Lawrence from Hunger Games, and she was talking about how she, as a woman, she didn't get the same pay that a man could have commanded for, such a key role as Katniss in the Hunger Games. And she said the reason why is because her inability, she felt it was her inability to negotiate, to push that price up, like the fee that she could command. And I would say that it's not so much that inability to negotiate. I wouldn't say that in itself is a problem. I would say that it's that you've got to fight for what you want, that sort of thing, like this fight energy, this push energy. It's the very imbalanced masculine energy that just demands that, that's how you're going to get what you want, by not caring about what other people think. So, and like, for instance, I played sports, and I found there's a difference between men's and women's sports, whereas men sort of, they'll go out and they'll thump one another, and, they'll get off after the match, and, and they'll be sort of, sledging each other on the cricket field. And then after the match, they're just, they have a chat. There doesn't seem to be any issues between, like, they just do these things that are sort of very forceful and negative, but then it's just like water off a duck's back. Whereas women, man, we take it on board, like when it was in sports, it affected me. The negativity affected me so much that, I literally could not perform to the same standard that I originally was performing at. So, and then we come back now to this whole idea of expressing myself, and I think I've expressed myself fine right now, and I think I just might leave it there, just to consider, what we're working through regarding our genders and the projections that are directed towards us, and just start asking ourselves the question of, like, why is it that men find it easier to talk and to flow in their speech? It's much rarer for women to be able to do this. And for women, I guess we've just got to start pushing ourselves to do it, to speak. And push through these discomfort zones, you know, because it's not, I can't say it's easy, but I know I've just got to keep pushing, you know, so that it allows the next person to push through, and just be okay with that. And learn from the younger generations, you know, that they're just sort of, you know, so much more open and confident, and, you know, unafraid of expressing themselves, whatever it is, their boundaries, their thoughts, their needs. You know, it's a different world. So, you know, just start learning from that and do it for ourselves. Okay, with that, goodbye.